Mook, in that first half, you guys held them to 15% shooting. I know Jans preaches defense, but just talk about what you guys have done on that end in the first 4 games.
Just try to enforce our will on them, just be in the passing lanes, just muddy everything up, just being real athletic and long.
Go ahead, Steph.
Cam, we've seen you contribute in a lot of ways this season. You got the scoring going a bit today. I guess what were you seeing? What was helping your shot? I think 6 for 6 from the field.
It would have been better if Tolu went fiending. But I'll take second today. But I guess everything was just going for me today, and I just played aggressive.
Go to Tanner in the second row.
Mook, you look a lot more comfortable handling the ball this year. Is that something you really kind of wanted to focus on this offseason?
I feel like I kind of already had it. It's just I had to get a little extra push from somebody.
Jack, you got one?
Yeah.
Let's get you the mic.
Yeah. Cam, a couple of weeks ago when we talked to Tolu, that he said that your defensive energy was kind of contagious, and Shaq kind of said the same thing. I guess how do you kind of feel like kind of being the anchor of that Mississippi State defense?
I'm just trying to help the team in whatever way I can. If that's just being the defensive voice, the anchor, and then I'll just do whatever they need me to do.
Brian, go ahead.
John, we'll get you a question here, boss. You guys were 4-0 last year. You're 4-0 this year. What's the difference? What's the biggest difference thus far? Just in the way the team's playing and just the attitude around the team?
Just everybody's hungry on defense. Defense wins games, so I feel like that's the biggest adjustment. We have a lot of hustle on the team.
Steph, go back.
You come in, knock down those 2 threes right away. I guess what was that like, getting that crowd reaction and then seeing those shots fall?
All glory to be God. It was a blessing. Like the first shot I shot, I just saw it go in, and so the second one I had to shoot it again.
Real got big, didn't
Yeah, it did. Volume shooter.
Again, questions for the players. Raise your hands. We'll go back to the back in the cameras and Grace, and then we'll come back up to the front and Paul.
Cam, saw you taking those pictures with the bananas after the game. How big is it to have this student section out here that cares?
Oh, yeah, that's great. Me personally as a player, I feed off the energy of the crowd. So the more people, the better we going to play. Pack the hump.
And just so you guys are aware, Coach Jans went and visited the Greeks tonight before the game, so you can ask him about that when he's in here. Let's go back to Paul here in the front.
Coach Jans has been in here, I guess, Tuesday and even last week, harping on he's not proud of the defensive rebounding. You guys out-rebounded tonight, 47-32 overall. What was the emphasis from the team with defensive rebounding, and how much of a big deal was that tonight?
I feel like with our team, we're really good on the first possession. I feel like when they get the second possession or the second chance points, that's when they hurt us. So if we limit those, then score a lot less points, and that's how you win the game.
Got time for a couple more. We'll go back to Steph, and then we'll wrap it up with Brian.
Justin, for you, I guess, this offseason you entered the portal, you come back here. I guess what was kind of the decision-making? What was it about, Chris Jans and his staff that, you wanted to come back and have a night like this?
How caring he is. He cares for everybody on the team, no matter who you are. And then I just couldn't leave. I just wanted to be a Bulldog my last year, so I decided to stay.
Cam, speaking of rebounding, 21 offensive rebounds on the night. That's a ridiculous number at the end of the day. What was making it so effective to get those second chance points?
Just making sure we go crash every time. We know we're not going to make every shot, and just us being bigger, stronger, faster, we just try to enforce our will, just crash every time. Most of them just came to us.
Coach, you guys held in to 15% shooting in the first half, and then after a slow start on the boards, you really dominated them there. Just your thoughts on those two aspects?
Yeah, we talked a lot pregame about just really trying to get our defense into the game from the jump. We knew we were going to be more athletic, and we wanted them to feel us physically on that end of the floor and just be athletic in our guarding the ball, in our closeouts, in our checks, and I thought for the most part we did that, certainly in the first half and even throughout the game. Rebounding was something we talked about at halftime. Wasn't up to snuff. We gave up 7 offensive rebounds, which is just way too many. And as you well know, we've been talking about that in here recently, that we've just something we chose to be good at and that we stress every day, and we're not. So that's disappointing. But we were better. But obviously, we're going to be playing against better athletes here real soon.
We'll keep it to coaches, right, and Steph.
Chris, you talked a lot about the various ways that Cam Matthews has impacted games, this season, but you finally get him going a bit offensively today, 14 points, 6 of 6 shooting. I guess, why do you think he was able to kind of get his shot going and get to the lane a bit more tonight?
I thought he got some rebounds off the backboard and pushed the ball, which we allow him to do, which gives us a whole other element in our transition game. And, he picked his spots a little better. Recently he's been like picking and popping and holding the ball and then trying to drive it against a set defense. Tonight I thought, he caught it and ripped it, and it just was more efficient with his choices he made with the basketball. And then he got on the glass and had some putbacks, and that's what he's going to do. I mean, he's going to score in a variety of ways. It's not going to be, a one-trick pony where he just does one thing. And when he can, obviously he's a really good defender. He can run and all that stuff. Everyone sees that. But if he can give us, nights where he can score the ball for us, that really is going to help us on that end of the floor.
We'll go second row middle to Tanner in classes. Go ahead, Tanner.
Coach, young guys like Kamani Hamilton, Martavius Russell, those guys have seen a lot of pretty big minutes here early in the season. Just talk about kind of the impact those freshmen are having on this squad.
Yeah, really glad that we're able to do that. Certainly you never know how the game's going to unfold when the ball's tipped, and we've had some games already where we've given those guys invaluable minutes for them and for us to see where they're at. And I thought the other day, MJ obviously had the big dunk, but he probably played a little bit better than Money. And tonight I thought Money, really showed everybody a glimpse of what he's capable of, especially in the second half. And with him, he just looks good out there. Like, he looks like a hooper, and obviously he's got great bloodlines. And he was real aggressive, which is fine, and that's who he is. But his defense is really ahead of his offense. I know he scored some baskets, but his defense is really, really good. He's just got to learn to pick his spots and know what we're trying to do. But I love all of our young guys. That's one of the best qualities about our team is every kid we got can play. We don't have any kids that can't play. We just obviously got to pick and choose who we have on the floor. And hopefully this will continue, and they'll make my job harder in terms of choices that we have to make each and every night.
We'll keep it second row to the right. Go ahead.
Hey, Coach, DJ Jeffries tonight, 4 of 7 from 3 and led the team in rebounding. How do you feel about his level of the play at the moment?
It's funny, coaches always talk about, you play like you practice, and certainly I'm one of those guys too. And he's had a different bounce to his step the last 3 or 4 days. I'm not sure why, I didn't ask him, but he's been different in a good way. I don't know if it's the buy-ins all the way in now. I don't know, if his personal life is going great, I have no idea. But I just know that he had a little bit different look to him. And in practice, the coaches have commented, we've all commented to each other, that he just looks a little different. And it got on the floor tonight. He just was efficient for the most part. I thought he took the one shot in the right corner early. It wasn't a great shot, but other than that, I thought he really played within himself. And we've put more on him lately. You saw him tonight. He had the ball in his hands a little bit more than he has in the past. And, he's proven to us that he can make good decisions with the ball, and he's got that size and that vision to make others better. And so hopefully that will be something that will continue.
We'll go second row left to Brian.
You mentioned being better athletes than this team, and I'm sure that goes a long way in getting 21 offensive rebounds, which is just a huge number. But did you expect to be that successful in getting second chances tonight?
I did. We wouldn't have so many if we'd have made more shots. There wouldn't have been as many available to us if we can make some more shots, especially from the three-point line and the free throw line. But, it's something we emphasize. It's something we talk about each and every time out. We keep track of who's crashing and who's not, and we use that to try to motivate them that if they want to stay in the court, they better get active on the backboards. We track it every day in practice, and that's one of the qualities that we have right now is we got some length and some guys that can move and beat some checks, and hopefully they'll continue to be hungry on the backboards.
We'll go back to the camera, Wells and Grace.
One of those aspects that was so impressive on defense was making them use the entirety of the shot clock. How impressive was it to you to see them kind of locked in for those full 30 seconds throughout the entire game?
Yeah, it was good. You're going to play a lot of different teams and a lot of different styles, and they're not a high possession, high tempo team, and so we expected to have to defend them, for lengthy possessions, if you will. And I thought, for the most part, they stayed locked in, and we had a couple breakdowns, where they got some easy baskets, and we made some mistakes. But I thought for the most part they did a pretty good job of staying in the possession and kept grinding the possession out.
We'll go back over front row.
We saw you messing with the student section a bit there at the end when they were calling for Isaac to get in. Matt had mentioned that you were, talking to Greek Life earlier today, trying to get them to come out to games. I guess how important is it, early in your tenure here to kind of get the fan buy-in and get, as Cat Matthews says, people to pack the hump?
Well, I think when you get a job, you sit up in your first press conference, and if you go back and watch everybody that gets a job across college basketball, they're all going to talk about connecting with the students. Can't imagine a coach out there that gets a job that doesn't talk about that or connecting with the community, the fan base, the school, obviously. But we just wanted to have action, and I definitely said that. And isn't it the first time I've been over there? And I just think that we trying to create a buzz. We're trying to connect with them. We're trying to touch them. We're trying to make sure they know we care, that they're there. We want to acknowledge them for supporting, these kids that are playing their heart out, and we're trying to create an environment. And to me, not that we don't want, everybody else that's a Bulldog fan that's willing and able to come support these guys, come to these games, but I think it starts with our student base. We got so many students in close proximity, and they love their Bulldogs, and I thought they were great tonight. I mean, they were there, they showed out. I have no idea how many of them extra came because we made the rounds, but we're going to continue trying to find ways to connect with our students and make sure they understand how important they are to what we're trying to do.
Just your thoughts on Horton and how he's kind of handled that role with Rams out, and any update on Rams?
Yeah, I thought Mel, even though his stat line doesn't say anything, he was good. He was point guardish with me tonight in terms of being an extension of me on the court, and you always want that in your point guards. And he had a nice look to him in the huddles, and he was really locked in. He was really focused. I thought he's handled it really well. Obviously, we played Shaq more at the point than maybe we would have with Rams not being out, and we actually played DJ at the point for probably 6 or 7 possessions tonight, and we've been tinkering with that as a secondary ball handler, and we like his size and vision out there. But Rams is doing fine. I think he probably could have played tonight, but he tried to practice yesterday, and he's just not there. He's hobbling around, and we just shut him down and said, we don't want this to be a lingering injury that, takes weeks to get over. So he's certainly day-to-day, and hopefully we'll get him back here soon.
Got time for a couple more. Raise your hands for questions. We'll go to Jack, then we'll go to Tanner.
Obviously, Monday it's a quick turnaround to Marquette. I guess what kind of stands out about that Marquette team?
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. We're gonna see where we're at one way or another. It's time in the season for us to play a team like that. I have no idea what the result's going to be, but we need to be challenged. We're definitely going to get exposed in some areas of the game. Who knows what it will be? But we're going to find out after Monday and Wednesday with the quality of teams that we're playing of where we're at and what we need to work on. And so I think our team needs to play that quality of competition. Obviously, we've watched a bunch of film on them already, and, man, they're really, really good. They're in midseason form. They just went over Purdue, and that's a really hard place to win, and they had every chance to win that basketball game in an unbelievable environment. So it's going to be a heck of a challenge for us.
We'll wrap it up with Steph.
Kind of go along those lines. You guys play Monday and then play Wednesday, as you mentioned. It's kind of the same turnaround you guys had from when you played Akron and then came back here to play Pine Bluff. I guess what did you maybe learn from that experience on how you guys kind of flipped the script, got ready for another game and a quick turnaround that you think this team could apply going into next week?
They've been really good at the mental part of staying focused and locking into this report and the things that we do on the court to try to get them to understand the tweaks that we're making with our schemes, both on offense and defense. And we're still obviously in the infant stages of a marathon season, but I like where they're at. I like how they pick up and the information that we're giving them, and so it won't be the first time. And the difference is obviously we had to travel back home, and this will be a good prep. This is going to be a good week for us. I'm anxious. I'm looking forward to it, to playing in these type of tournaments. They just feel different. And with the quality of teams and the size of the teams, it's going to be a heck of a challenge for us.